So hi, welcome to the Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with...
I'm Jaret. I'm Jaret from your favorite band, Bowling for Soup.
And we're asking some questions today about their new album, Pop Drunk Snot Bread. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the album so far?
Man, thank you very much. It's been great. You know, I mean, I don't think that I necessarily expected anything to be negative or anything like that, but it's certainly been very good and very positive, and it's doing well streaming wise and all that. So it seems like we've done our job.
That's awesome. The album was actually very good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yes.
I appreciate it. It's nice when younger people such as yourselves enjoy a bunch of old men singing about beer and girls. You know,
you gotta love it.
Yeah.
I love it, right?
Yeah. Is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yeah, so title and cover art. It's funny. When I came up with this title, I honestly thought it was a softball. I thought everybody's going to get this right off, and they're going to be like, "Why didn't I think of this?" Or at least some sort of a thing like this. And but no one gets it right off. And then when I tell everybody, they're like, "Oh, okay." But it's just a play off of, well, the album is called Pop Drunk Snot Bread.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a play off Pop Punk's Not Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And right, see, there's that aha moment that happened.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't that just sound like anyway? And so with the Pop Drunk Snot Bread on the album cover, I wanted us to sort of like do a play on the Garbage Pail Kids. Okay. And so that's where it all came from.
That's super sick.
Wow. Yeah, that would have taken me a little bit longer to get. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. And I sort of scratched my head, but now I'm just accepting of it. And I think that it's funny that I've had to explain it so many times because it just goes to show you why, whenever I told the band what I thought the title should be, they all looked at me like I was crazy. And so it makes way more sense that maybe they didn't get it either until after the fact.
Yeah.
So did you have to convince them to use this title? Did they have any other options? They were like, no, let's not do that. Let's do this instead.
Convince is not really I sort of just steamrolled it in.
Okay.
But there were a couple of other working titles that it would just, because we did want to call the album. So I think one of the titles that was working was stream this album, Fuckface.
That's about marketing in 2022. Yeah. So
that one we put in our back pocket. So maybe on down the road we'll do that one. But that was kind of the only other title that we had working wise.
I'm very upset you guys didn't use that title. I like that one a lot.
I know it is really, really good.
That is good.
Yeah, gotta use it next time.
Yeah. I should just do a song called Stream This Song Fuckface, and that's the song. You
guys could make a whole marketing campaign out of it. Like your headlining tour for it could be like, buy tickets to this tour, Fuckface, or something along those lines. And like,
look at this,
My goodness, we are really having a brainstorming session right now.
We are.
Real.
Yeah, this is really good. So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
Well, this one was a little different in that, like, I hadn't been really writing songs, prepping for doing an album. Usually it's like, okay, well, around this time we'll probably start thinking about doing a record. So I've kind of got some songs in my back pocket and I'm kind of gearing for it. But what happened here is quarantine hit, and man, it was just, everything was just canceled, and we were apart for so long that it was like, what could we possibly do to hang out for a few weeks? Oh, I got an idea. If we go make an album, we have to hang out all the time.
Yeah.
So we all took COVID tests. We got a tour bus, really cheap, by the way, because nobody else was using them.
Yeah.
And we took it to the Poconos in Pennsylvania, and we got a studio. And then a mile away, we got a huge Airbnb where everybody had their own room. Wow. And we just went there for 2 weeks and made a record. So that long-winded explanation is basically like the few months between then, the deciding we were going to do this and then actually doing it. I was like, oh, I guess I got to write an album. And so I think that's why the album comes across as being somewhat reflection based, where there's so much like looking back and like, oh, okay, well, we've accomplished this, and this is how I feel about our band, or I wouldn't change a thing, or I can't believe after all these beers, and getting old sucks, but everybody's doing it. And then there's a greatest of all time kind of thing. So, so it was a little different in that there was sort of just like all of a sudden there's no songs. Well, Alexa Bliss existed. That song actually was supposed to go on as a bonus song on our second greatest hits, which isn't even out yet.
Oh.
But I was like, this song is already out there and it matches the style and everything that we're already doing. So let's put this on the record. So that made sense. So anyway, besides Alexa Bliss, none of these songs even existed. And so that's sort of the difference in that it was like, riding up there in the tour bus. And I was like, oh, you guys want to hear what we're recording at all? Or should we just wait till we get there? I don't know. But anyway, it worked out good.
That's good. So you guys didn't like have that weird like Zoom writing shit, like none of that happened?
Well, I did do that.
Okay.
But I did that with Linus of Hollywood, wrote several songs with me on this record, who I've co-written a lot of Bowling for Soup songs with him, and he co-produces most everything I do in and out of Bowling for Soup. Linus usually is involved in it some way, whether it's mixer, co-producer, or writer, or whatever. And then one song, Wouldn't Change a Thing, I did over text message actually with Zach Malloy, who produced and co-wrote my new country record. Nice. So, which was also done during quarantine as well. So 2 records written and recorded during quarantine, and which that's pretty much what I was doing, So, but yeah, the Zoom writing thing is not something really that was born out of quarantine. We had been doing that forever, just in different things. We didn't use Zoom. I mean, like we would use Skype or FaceTime to do it. When quarantine happened, it was easier to get other writers to agree to do it. Me and Linus did it all the time, and me and Zach would do it all the time. And there's a couple of other guys, but now you can get like a heavy hitter from Nashville and go, hey, you want to get on a Zoom and write a song? And they'll say yes. Whereas before it'd be like, no, if you want to write a song with me, come get in the room. Kind of thing. So, it normalized it a smidge, which is cool because, it just made the world smaller as far as songwriters are concerned.
Definitely.
100%. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. And you just have to get used to it. The thing that it limits you to is you can't play the song together. One of the cool things about writing a song in the room with someone is you can play through it. And then one of you singing one part and the other singing this other part. And then you harmonize on the part that you're excited about. And there's this really cool build up to it all. Like, this is so good. And you don't get that because it's pretty impossible. Nobody's figured out quite yet how to where there's zero delay and you can just do it.
Yeah.
But you just sort of get used to it really quickly. You're just like, hey, do you want to play through that or do you want me to? And then one of you is just listening. So, but yeah, boy, I really went down that songwriting on Zoom rabbit hole for a while, didn't I?
Love it though. Great. It's a podcast, man. Go ahead.
Exactly. Talk as much as you want. Good. So would you be able to tell us your favorite lyric off this album and the meaning behind it?
Oh my goodness gracious. There is not to toot my own horn, which I do often.
You should.
As everybody should.
Yeah.
But there are some really, really strong lyrics on this song. But one of them was put to me by a good friend of mine the other day where he sent me the lyric and he just goes, wow. But in the song, Let's Just Do the Best We Can, there's a lyric that says, all the aggravation was based on expectation that you and I could never live up to. And that just gave me the chills. And it's my lyric. I gave myself the chills saying my own lyric to myself. But I just feel like that is so timely right now. And that because it's a love song and it's really about, going through things and managing to always be able to pick up the pieces and carry on and be there for one another. But, that lyric is it applies to what we've all been through the last couple of years, you guys being younger. I keep calling you youngsters. God, that makes me sound old. But anyway,
you're good.
Being a little younger, you it may have hit you a little bit differently, but like from someone from, in my, being a suburban parent, it's like, oh, okay, well, we're going to be home all summer. Well, I've got to get the garage clean, or I've got to get this done, and I'm going to lose weight, and I'm going to do this, and none of it got done. And the thing is that none of it got done, and then all of a sudden there's just this like, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit, what the fuck is wrong with me? And like, I suck at everything. And then, and we all had to get out of that, and then realize, and then one day somebody said it to me, and I go, oh my God, this is amazing. But someone said, you know what? We're in a pandemic. All anybody has to do is survive.
Yep.
That's it, and I was like, okay, you're right. If we wake up and accomplish anything other than survival, we're winning, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that line hits in a few different areas, and again, we all put expectations on ourselves as far as like where our relationship's going to go, and what age we're going to have kids, and what I'm going to be doing at 29. And, my daughter's 19, and she's, and that I just don't know what I want to do. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. You don't have to know what you want to do until you're 46. And then if you still don't know what you want to do, that's cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just don't be a piece of shit and be happy. That's
it. That's it. Yeah.
That's all you have to do in life, so, that's my favorite lyric on the album.
I like that.
It's a very good lyric.
Very good. So how'd the track list for the album come about? Did you write the opener be the opener, closer be a closer, shuffle around, see what fits? What was that process like?
So it was just shuffling around to see what fits. I mean, when Greatest of All Time was done, I pretty much knew that needed to be first. Everything else, it was just constant, just changing it around. I mean, usually, I go back to like sequencing records over the last 28 years, and it's like, it used to be pretty, you almost had this mold. You have to start with one that's strong. You put the first single third, and then the fourth song is the ballad, and then everything else fills in. It's like, it kind of doesn't work that way anymore with the way that we all listen to music, and I wanted to make sure that I could, if possible, make each song transition to other ones, so that if somebody's streaming the record, they don't hit skip, and so the funny thing about that is, if you've listened to the record front to back, I sent the sequence to the guys, and of course, no one ever gives me a straight answer to anything. Our text threads are like, it's just, I send something serious, and then there's like funny line, subject change, another subject change, and then just random stuff for like the next 2 days. And then I'm and then I'm like, okay, so did you guys see the thing like way up there?
Thing? Yeah.
Needed you to answer.
Exactly.
And so I sent the sequence, and Chris answered right back, and he said, we need to put a P break in here because so the reason he said that is because during our live show, we have a few different ways that we break down. We'll do one where it's called the Bowling for Soup Comedy Jam, and during that we each tell you a joke. Or we have the karaoke battle, where each of us sings 45 seconds of a karaoke song, and at the end of all that, the audience votes on the winner. Now, that is all a complete just decoy so that Rob can go pee, because he can't make it the whole show.
Wow.
So we've essentially designed places in the show so that he can go first, and then he just disappears. And then by the time we get to the end of it, when Gary's finishing whatever he's doing, Rob's back, and nobody ever even notices, right?
Yeah.
So Chris, of course, was being funny. And I was like, that's actually a really good idea. And so I got the Morgan Freeman sound-alike off of Fiverr for $40, and the P break on the album was born.
I was actually going to ask like how you timed where the P break went on the track list, because it's arguably the most important part of the album.
It really is, and you're right. And the thing is, it's about when Rob would need to go pee. If you take percentage wise through the album versus percentage wise through a 75 to 90 minute set, that's about where he would go pee.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, and he can make it the rest of the show.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I feel like more bands need to do that.
Right, I feel like they don't, because that is thievery.
Oh, true. Sorry.
That shit.
Sorry, I take that back. If any band does this,
patents.
Yeah,
the P break belongs to Bowling for Soup,
and
no one else,
and only Bowling for Soup.
Only Bowling for Soup.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you were creating this record?
Well, I was just coming out of a bit of a funk because the pandemic, the quarantining, the things disappearing. I mean, we had 2 years worth of tour dates that just were just disappearing as quickly as they had gotten on the calendar. And I've never had a blank calendar in my life, and especially since becoming a musician. I mean, my life exists of like, here's the amount of time that I have with my family, and here's where I'm going to go to work. And then after this, I need about this much time with my family. So don't schedule anything here. And, that's how it works. And all of a sudden it was just like, hey, you're locked into this thing and your crew doesn't have jobs anymore. And, there's no telling, where the next paycheck for those guys is coming from. Everything is up in the air. So it's in a pretty weird space as far as just, I'm pretty open about my mental health struggles. I have severe depression and anxiety. And so those things reared their ugly heads pretty severely for the first time in several years. And so once I kind of had to work through all of that first. And the way that I did it was I just started doing shows on the internet. Like I literally was doing at least a show a day. If it wasn't for myself, it was for charity or whatever. And I didn't say no to anything. I would just, hey, we're doing a charity thing for this. Sure, I'm in. And so I was just coming off of that, kind of getting into that routine. A few months in. So my headspace was getting better. I don't know that I could have written such a positive record had it not timed out the way that it did, but I was doing good. And, the main thing was that, we were all safe and healthy and, in our, where we needed to be and doing what we needed to do to survive. And so, but, again, it was, I can't say that it's a headspace I've ever been in before, to write an album. Because obviously it's something that none of us have ever experienced. I tell my kids, I'm just like, you guys, it seems like you're just sort of living through this thing, but like your kids are going to read about this as being like this time in history. Like you read about the Iraq war, or this or this or this, like this is a time and place in history now where like they'll be talking about it in 100 years.
For sure, definitely.
Oof. Yeah.
Which is scary to think about. So
I just want to say, I'm happy that you found basically your way back and got yourself out of that headspace by performing online. And it's also very nice where you did even accept, just like free live streams for like charities and stuff.
Of course, yeah.
That makes me very happy.
Thank you.
I'm happy for you. That's good.
Thank you very much. Well, it's been a struggle for me through counseling and medications and things for about 10 years. And but I've actually just got elected to the board of directors for Punk Rock Saves Lives, which is very big deal for mental health and also for bone marrow transplants and things like that. So and I raised a bunch of money for them and a bunch of money for a local charity here called Foundation 45, and then various other things. But so I appreciate the kind words. For me, mental health wasn't necessarily something that I really wanted to get involved in. I mean, I just kind of got myself to where I could function. But then once I started, once you start to, all of a sudden you become hyper aware of other people and this, and this, and it's like, okay, like if this many people have these issues, I need to talk about it, because if I don't, I'm an asshole. Like there's a stigma behind this. So if I'm trying to keep this as a secret and compartmentalize it within myself, I'm doing exactly what they're doing, like we've got to get it out. And so anyway, thank you very much for that.
Of course. And congratulations on being elected. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should they do it in the car with friends, dark with headphones on? Is it a workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
All of the above. I say let it fly. Whatever your favorite way of listening to music is, get in there and do it. I personally like to, when a new record that I'm super excited about comes out, I like to set aside 45 minutes and just go drive around and, listen to it in the car. Cause that's the way that music has been my entire life, is just, in the car, but, working out and doing it with friends and all of that works. I just hope everybody everybody digs it because it's certainly something we're really proud of.
Oh yeah,
for sure. And if you don't mind me asking, how did you personally listen to this record? Did you listen to it in the car, as you mentioned?
I did. Yeah. I listened to it in the car. Now, so it's interesting the way that it is for me, because these songs are recorded and then I have to send them off and I have to listen to the mixes and then I have to listen to the masters, and they're all just kind of, going. So I get to actually sequence it and go around and drive around and listen to it. And then I'd make a change and then I'd wait like a day and then I'd go back and then I kind of made a couple of more last minute things. But once it was done and I had it all and had it mastered and like, okay, here's your album. I always take a drive and just go listen to it. And it's always very, very special in that, it's like, this started out as nothing. Like literally it was not even time and space. It was nothing, not even an idea. And then an idea and then a song and then a song and then a guitar and a drum and then this. And all of a sudden, like, it's a tangible, listenable thing,
Fuck yeah.
So this one should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Really fucking good.
Hell fucking yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
So what is your favorite memory that you made while creating this record?
My favorite memory creating this record was we really lucked out. We were up there in the Poconos making this record, and for the first time ever, football, baseball, hockey, and basketball were all happening at the same time. So like we had playoffs in hockey, and football was starting, and baseball and basketball, I believe, were close to the finals, if not in the finals. And we just we had a football Sunday where everybody made their favorite football dish, and drank a bunch of beer, and we just had the best day. And so that's my favorite memory of making the record, because that's what it's all about. I mean, my favorite thing in the world to do is sit around and shoot the shit with my friends. Talk. We call it talking about nothing. I love to talk about nothing with my buds, and that's what we did.
That's awesome. I love that.
Very wholesome. Yeah. So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop, you're going in. What is your snack of choice?
All right. So I am really weird, but my favorite thing in the gas station are cheap gas station sandwiches in the little triangle pack. Like, it's like cut in half.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Right? Yeah.
No.
They're so delicious. I love those things so much. But if I don't get that, then I will usually get like Chex Mix or some sort of a almonds peanut trail mix thing. But I do love those little shitty little triangle sandwiches.
I'm not going to lie. I have always wanted to try those sandwiches because they do look good, but I don't know if I trust them. That's the thing.
You got to do it. They taste exactly like you think they're going to taste.
Oh, yeah, maybe I shouldn't try them then.
No, it's like they taste like you made a bunch of sandwiches and then you went fishing and you forgot about them. Yeah. And then at like 3:00, you're like, oh, we've got sandwiches. That's
I might have to grab one.
Since you trust the gas station sandwich, you trust the gas station hot dog.
Or pizza.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I trust all gas station food for
That's
sure.
fucked up.
I don't necessarily all get that. But here's the thing. We were in a van for 9 years touring. We didn't have the luxury of like, okay, this place doesn't have anything. Let's go get something else. It's like, and when you're in that situation, it's like, whatever they have that's hot, usually you'll go ahead and just get it,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I'm not a big like hot dog pizza guy, but I'll do like I do like the gas station hamburgers that are in the tin foil. Basically just the shittiest stuff they have. That's what I eat. I like the chicken sandwich because it tastes like it from school, from like like the school hamburger and chicken sandwich. But yeah, I trust all gas station food.
That's bold. That is bold.
You're probably the only person that we've spoken to that has said that I actually believe and trust, because you've been doing this and you've tried everything. 100%. So it's like I I get it. You know, I respect that. I respect that.
And what's funny is each guy in my band has his own thing that he likes. Like Chris will get the hot dog, and he like puts all that stuff on there that's just laying out. You know,
it's been out for days. Flies are in it.
100%. And he loads that thing up. And then Gary and Rob like the little taquitos on the roller.
Oh yeah.
So they get those things, and then I do my sandwich or my hamburger that's been in the foil for 3 hours.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice.
Perfect.
Little gas station dinner. Yeah. So on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why? Obviously,
we'd be a minestrone. Okay. We're called Bowling for Soup, so you pick the best soup. My favorite soup is a really good hearty minestrone.
Okay, good answer.
Perfect. I love it. So for these last couple questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Perfect. So we're actually going to go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
All right.
Like food.
So this is a tough one because you go like, I know most people want to hear like steak and lobster or whatever, but I think I would go like, I'd probably go breakfast burrito with pancakes and Route 44 Diet Coke from Sonic.
Nice. That's good.
That sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, breakfast food is like top tier, so I get it.
I love breakfast burritos and breakfast sandwiches on a bagel. It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, especially on a bagel. Like if there's an option to get like either a biscuit or a bagel, you got to go for the bagel.
Always the bagel. Yeah. Agreed.
So if you could live in one fiction world for a week, where would you live?
One fiction world for a week, where would I live? Gosh, that's tough. One fiction world, where would I live? You know, as ridiculous as it sounds, I think it'd be cool to go to Hogwarts for a day. You know, I had never seen any of the Harry Potters, and 2 summers, the first summer of COVID, when we were locked up, it's like by 3:00, if we hadn't heard from friends that have a pool, we were locked into our house. Right, I built a pool since then, but for that exact reasons, like I'm tired of waiting on everybody else's pool. And so, but me and my kid watched all the Harry Potters. And so that would be I think just for the observation thing. Like I don't think that I would want to like go there and get adventures and shit.
Okay.
But going there to just like see all this stuff walking around and like, you know, watching a game of that deal where they fly around, you know, I don't know.
Quidditch. Yeah.
Also, honestly, that's just the first one that popped in my head. So
fair enough. I appreciate you being honest.
Yeah. Always.
Do you know what house you'd be in?
I would for sure be in Snape, for sure.
Slytherin.
Slytherin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be with the bad guys for sure. But I, you know, at the end of the day, we're all good guys. It just has to kind of come around. But I think I would definitely be in Slytherin.
Perfect. I love that. So I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person we've spoken to has actually said it is the most important question.
Okay.
What is your favorite color?
Brown.
Brown. You have a specific shade of brown?
Yeah, I like UPS brown.
Oh, that's it's a good color.
That's good.
I really like it. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I have brown Dickies that I like to wear all the time, and one time I made the mistake of wearing a brown Dickies shirt and a brown Dickies shorts at the same time.
Oh,
and my bandmates kept asking me why their package was late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I never made that mistake again.
Good.
Yeah.
So as Gloria said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Just go to bowlingforsoup.com. You can find me everywhere, JARET2113, or you can go to jaretreddick.com and see all of my podcasts, all of the bands I'm in, all the voice work I do. And I'm on TikTok at Jaret Reddick.
Nice. All right. Cool. Well, thank you for now. This has been Jaret from Bowling for Soup, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.